Oh, sisters and brothers, here we are again. We start our Lenten journey on Wednesday, yes? Not soon enough for some. You know, our Knights Council over in Carrollton uh, started their fish fries this past Friday. They were in such a rush for Lent, they had to get started early, I suppose. Oh, I told the Altar Society. The Altar Society, did the desserts. I didn't think the desserts were particularly penitential, but well, I guess we'll find out how the rest how the rest of the fish fries work out. We start our journey, sisters and brothers, this Ash Wednesday. We start our Lenten journey through Lent, preparing our hearts, preparing our minds, preparing our souls to celebrate Easter, to celebrate our Lord Jesus Christ's resurrection from the dead. And if that weren't good enough, we celebrate something else. Because we recognize, sisters and brothers, that our Lord, in rising from the dead, unlocked for us the resurrection of our bodies. Of course, we know at the end of time, it's not just our souls that will be resurrected, as we'll pray in a little while in the Nicene Creed. Our bodies will be resurrected as well. And thanks be to God who gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. When that which is corruptible clothes itself with incorruptibility, and this which is mortal clothes itself with immortality. So we have some opportunities, sisters and brothers, to consider how we construct, how we build, how we discern our Lenten disciplines. We talked about that a little bit last week, you may recall, sisters and brothers. What extra prayers will be added into our days of Lent? What extra tithing we can do during our days of Lent? I suspect our friend from Catholic Charities is going to have a couple of thoughts about that. And what our fasting would be, what we are giving up for Lent. Because just as what the potter molds in the furnace, so in tribulation is a test of the just. And as we discern, sisters and brothers, what to fast, what to give up for Lent, we have an opportunity, perhaps, sisters and brothers, in these days of social media, of how television and internet news gets molded for us, to consider carefully, sisters and brothers, who we allow to influence us, who we admire. Some discretion is called for, sisters and brothers, here. Who do we think is going to help us become more Christ-like? It is for this reason our Lord gives us this parable, yes? Can a blind person guide a blind person? Will not both fall into a pit? We have to be careful about how we are influenced, who we admire, who we follow, who we think is influential, who we think is thinking makes sense. Because a good tree does not bear rotten fruit, nor does a rotten tree bear good fruit. Every tree is known by its fruit, and so does one's faults when one speaks. Sisters and brothers, we have a couple of days to kind of figure out how we start our Lenten disciplines, what we are giving up for Lent, and perhaps who we are giving up for Lent, what we are giving up for Lent. Not only what we consume in our food, but what we consume in our social media feed. But not just this Lent preparing for Easter. but also our entire lives of faith, preparing for this glorious resurrection that Jesus Christ won for us, so that we can better be planted in the house of the Lord and flourish in the courts of our God. But not just ourselves, sisters and brothers, not just ourselves, but being more judicious, being more deliberate, being more careful in who we follow, who we find admirable. Being more careful, sisters and brothers. The course of our world may be better directed by God's peaceful rule. Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever.